If you intentionally starve yourself for 16 to 24 hours a day, you probably expect your body to become a cellular fountain of youth. You push through the hunger, convinced that by simply refusing to eat, your cells are rapidly cleaning themselves and actively reversing the biological clock. But clinical longevity science reveals a terrifying hidden reality. Millions of people are making invisible errors that completely invert this ancient survival mechanism. Instead of triggering profound biological healing, they are accidentally flipping a switch that accelerates cellular decay, permanently damages their metabolic rate, and fundamentally causes their bodies to age much faster. The goal of fasting is not just to survive a timer on an app on your phone. The true biological objective is to master the delicate, microscopic switch between destruction and cellular rebirth, allowing you to actually reverse tissue aging, restore vibrant baseline energy, and rebuild a highly resilient metabolism without accidentally destroying your biology in the process. But as you stare at the clock, waiting for your fasting window to end, a subtle, creeping exhaustion sets in. Your hair might be thinning. Your hands feel constantly cold. A quiet internal panic whispers, "If I am doing the ultimate health protocol, why do I feel like my body is falling apart?" You wonder if you are somehow biologically defective, but you are not defective. You are simply trapped in the first of 7 invisible biological mistakes. The first mistake happens when you confuse the ancient rhythm of fasting with the modern trauma of chronic starvation. You decide to fast for 18 hours a day, but when you finally do eat, you intentionally restrict your calories, eating only tiny, bird-like portions because you want to lose weight even faster. To your conscious mind, this feels like discipline. But your hypothalamus, the master control center at the base of your brain, does not understand the concept of a diet. It only understands survival geometry. When you continuously combine long fasting windows with a massive caloric deficit, your brain perceives that you have entered a severe, permanent famine. In a desperate bid to keep you alive, the hypothalamus sends an emergency chemical signal to your thyroid gland, drastically reducing the production of the active thyroid hormone, T3. Your thyroid is the cellular thermostat of your entire body. When T3 levels crash, your basal metabolic rate plummets. Your body stops burning fat and instead begins hoarding it. Your core body temperature drops, which is why your hands and feet feel like ice. Your body begins shedding hair to conserve the microscopic amounts of energy required to grow it. You are not regenerating, you are powering down. This makes perfect evolutionary sense. If an early human was wandering through a frozen tundra with almost zero food, a fast metabolism would be a death sentence. The body slows everything down to stretch out the remaining fuel. Fasting is meant to be an acute, temporary stressor, followed by a massive, nutrient-dense feast to signal safety. If you never send the signal of safety, your metabolism stays broken. But a crashed thyroid is only the first hidden trap. What happens the exact second you actually break your fast is where the real biological violence occurs. You cross the finish line, the timer goes off. You are ravenously hungry, so you reach for a massive, hyper-palatable meal, a burger, fries, or a massive bowl of pasta covered in a heavy cream sauce. You combine high amounts of refined carbohydrates with high amounts of processed fats. In a normal state, this is an unhealthy meal, but immediately after a deep fast, it is biologically lethal. During a fast, your cells become highly insulin sensitive. They are completely depleted and desperate for fuel, standing wide open like dry sponges. When you flood your bloodstream with a massive spike of glucose combined with heavy lipids, those open cells aggressively vacuum all of it up simultaneously. This creates a terrifying chemical reaction inside your bloodstream, known as the formation of advanced glycation end products, or AGS. Imagine taking a sticky, hot syrup and pouring it directly over the delicate, microscopic gears of a finely tuned watch. The sugar molecules physically bond to the fat and protein molecules, crystallizing and hardening. These AGEs lodge themselves directly into the endothelial lining of your blood vessels, causing rapid, severe stiffening of your arteries. They bond to the collagen in your skin, destroying its elasticity and causing premature wrinkles. The cardiologist looked at the ultrasound of the patient's carotid artery, tapped the screen, and said, "You are losing weight, yes. But the way you are breaking this fast is causing your vascular system to age 10 years for every 1 year you are alive. You are actively turning your blood vessels into rigid glass." But as you try to correct your diet, a third, deeply subtle mistake is silently draining the electrical current of your entire nervous system. You are 18 hours into a water fast. You feel lightheaded, your heart is occasionally fluttering, and a dull, pulsing headache is blooming behind your eyes. You assume this is just the weakness of hunger, so you drink another massive liter of purified water, but the headache gets worse. What you are actually experiencing is severe cellular desiccation. When you stop eating, your body burns through its stored liver glycogen. For every 1 gram of glycogen your body burns, it flushes out 3 grams of water. As this water rushes out of your system through your kidneys, it drags a massive amount of crucial electrolytes with it, specifically sodium, potassium, and magnesium. These minerals are not just for hydration, they are the literal battery acid of your nervous system. Every single time your heart beats, every time a neuron fires in your brain, it requires a precise electrical gradient created by sodium and potassium crossing the cellular membrane. By drinking gallons of pure, mineral-void water during a fast, you are actively diluting the remaining electrolytes in your blood. Your cellular batteries are running completely dry. Your brain struggles to send electrical signals to your heart, causing arrhythmias. Your muscles begin to cramp violently in the middle of the night. You are not fasting successfully, you are accidentally inducing hyponatremia. The fix is incredibly simple. A pinch of high-quality sea salt and potassium in your water, but ignoring this matrix accelerates the decay of your neural pathways. Yet, even if you perfectly balance your minerals, you might be falling victim to the most pervasive and destructive myth in the entire fasting community. The myth states that because fasting triggers autophagy, the miraculous cellular cleanup process that eats damaged, aging cells, you should try to stay in autophagy as much as absolutely possible. You become terrified of activating a biological pathway called mTOR. mTOR is the body's primary growth pathway. It is triggered when you eat protein, and it shuts off autophagy. Modern diet culture has demonized mTOR, claiming that because it stimulates growth, it stimulates aging and cancer. This is a catastrophic misunderstanding of human biology. We must break this misconception right now. Autophagy is the biological demolition crew. It tears down the old, rotting structures inside your cells. But if you never trigger mTOR, you never send the builders in to construct the new house. You are just endlessly tearing down load-bearing walls until the entire structure collapses. When you constantly fast and chronically avoid protein to keep mTOR suppressed, you trigger a terrifying condition called sarcopenia, the rapid, age-related loss of muscle mass. Muscle is your metabolic currency. It is the armor that protects your skeleton and the sink that drains toxic glucose from your blood. If you fast so much that you cannibalize your own muscle tissue, you are guaranteeing a state of extreme frailty. You will look at the scale and be thrilled that the number is dropping, completely unaware that what you are losing is the very tissue that keeps you biologically young. You must strategically trigger mTOR with high-quality protein to rebuild what the fast has broken down. But this delicate balance between breaking down and building up is completely shattered by the fifth mistake, which occurs when you try to force a biological healing protocol on top of a psychological war zone. It is Tuesday morning. You slept for 4 hours. You are stressed about your job. Your inbox is overflowing, and you are drinking your 3rd cup of black coffee on hour 16 of your fast. You feel a vibrating, nervous energy. You think this is the power of ketones activating your brain, but it is actually a massive, toxic flood of cortisol. Cortisol is the body's primary stress hormone. In small bursts, it is highly protective, but fasting itself is a severe physiological stressor. When you stack the stress of fasting on top of the stress of sleep deprivation, heavy caffeine, and modern anxiety, your adrenal glands completely panic. They pump out a relentless, chronic wave of cortisol. This chronic cortisol signals to your liver that you are in a life-or-death survival situation. To give you energy to fight the imaginary predator, your liver begins a process called gluconeogenesis. It violently tears amino acids out of your muscle tissue, converts them into sugar, and dumps that sugar directly into your bloodstream. Even though you haven't eaten a single calorie, your blood sugar spikes massively. Because you are sitting still at a desk, that sugar has nowhere to go. So, your body takes that manufactured sugar and permanently stores it as deep, inflammatory visceral fat directly around your organs. You are starving yourself, yet you are actively gaining belly fat and destroying your internal organs because your stress hormones have hijacked your metabolism. And right when you think you can cheat the system, you fall into the sixth trap, completely blinding your own biology with a microscopic chemical lie. You are 12 hours into your fast, and the cravings hit. You reach for a 0-calorie energy drink, a diet soda, or you put a packet of artificial sweetener in your tea. You look at the nutritional label, 0 calories, 0 sugar. The internal monologue justifies it. Since there are no calories, my body is still fasting, my autophagy is still running. But this is where biology behaves completely unexpectedly. Your body does not count calories, it reacts to chemical molecules. When the intensely sweet molecules of an artificial sweetener hit the highly sensitive receptors on your tongue, it triggers an immediate neural signal to your brain. This is known as the cephalic phase insulin response. Your brain tastes the extreme sweetness and assumes a massive payload of sugar is about to enter the stomach. In preparation, the brain commands the pancreas to release a spike of insulin. The moment insulin enters your bloodstream, autophagy slams shut. The cellular cleanup process is instantly aborted. The fat-burning mechanisms are totally paralyzed. Because no actual sugar arrives, the insulin aggressively pulls whatever remaining glucose you have out of your blood, causing a severe blood sugar crash that leaves you shaking, dizzy, and desperately hungry. You have successfully endured all the psychological pain of fasting, but the artificial sweetness has completely robbed you of every single cellular benefit. You are executing a dirty fast, and your cells are drowning in the illusion. But even if you drink only water, balance your electrolytes, manage your stress, and eat perfect meals, there is one final mistake that will guarantee your body ages faster than you can comprehend. You are fasting consistently, but you are never engaging in deep, heavy mechanical tension. You are not lifting weights or doing resistance training. You assume that because fasting lowers inflammation and cleans up cells, you don't need to put your body through the physical trauma of exercise. This is a devastating evolutionary error. When you fast, your body is actively looking for tissue to break down for energy. If you are not lifting heavy things, your central nervous system determines that your muscle mass and your bone density are biologically unnecessary. Why spend precious energy maintaining heavy, dense muscle if you never use it? The body ruthlessly catabolizes your muscle and leaches calcium from your bones to survive the fast. Clinical studies have shown that individuals who execute prolonged fasting without simultaneous resistance training can lose up to 40% of their total weight from lean muscle and bone mass, rather than fat. You are literally hollowing out your own skeleton, but the moment you pick up a heavy weight, you send a piercing electrical signal through your nervous system. You tell your DNA, I need this muscle to survive. Do not touch it. The body obeys. It violently protects the muscle tissue and shifts all of its fat-burning machinery directly toward your adipose tissue. Fasting without mechanical tension is just accelerated decay. Fasting with mechanical tension is the ultimate localized cellular regeneration. This deep biological architecture sounds like a superpower, and when utilized correctly, it is. But it comes with a severe, undeniable warning. Fasting is not a toy. It is a highly precise, deeply intense medical stressor. If you have a history of eating disorders, using fasting as a health tool will only weaponize your relationship with food and cause profound psychological and physical destruction. If you are pregnant or breastfeeding, your body requires continuous, unbroken anabolism, the constant building of new tissue, and fasting will severely harm both your biology and the child's development. If you are on heavy prescription medications, particularly blood pressure drugs or exogenous insulin, altering your metabolic state without strict medical supervision is recklessly dangerous. This is not about suffering for the sake of aesthetics. It is about calculated biological hormesis, the fundamental law of nature that what mildly stresses the cell makes the cell remarkably stronger. As you finally break your fast with a perfectly balanced plate of high-quality protein and healthy fats, a profound realization should settle over your mind. For years, you might have felt trapped in a body that was aging too quickly, always tired, always inflamed, and slowly breaking down. You might have thought your metabolism was permanently broken, entirely destroyed by the modern world, but you are not broken. Your body is simply responding flawlessly to the exact signals you have been sending it. When you send it a signal of blind starvation, extreme stress, and chemical illusions, it accelerates decay to protect you from the famine. But when you send it the precise evolutionary signals of rhythmic rest, deep hydration, mechanical tension, and nutrient-dense rebuilding, it responds with shocking resilience and cellular regeneration. You possess, entirely dormant within your DNA, an incredibly sophisticated self-healing technology that has kept humanity alive through ice ages, famines, and the brutal dawn of time. You do not need to starve yourself to stop time. You just need to finally learn how to speak your body's ancient language.